Hey everyone, we're going to look at temperature affecting the access range of insects to trees. The trees we see on the bottom are the white bark pine trees, which are the taller species of pine trees. And the little guy we see on the right side is the mountain pine beetle, which is a tree-killing insect. Alright, let's see what we are going to look at in this presentation. Increase in temperature gives access to tree-killing insects to reach high elevation trees, which means that as temperature increases, more insects are able to attack taller trees. Insects use trees to live in them. White bark pine tree is a high elevation tree, while a lodgepole pine tree is a lower elevation tree. The genus that was looked at in this experiment is called the Pinus contorta. Mountain pine beetle, as a tree-killing insect, was used to determine which tree is stronger against insects. Warming climate. Global warming has always been an issue in the past decade. We all know about that. Warming climate causes insects to travel and live in new places. Mountain pine beetle. Mountain pine beetles kill the host trees by making holes in the bark. So they basically make a hole through the bark and they mate and reproduce inside the holes. They lay eggs, and when their larvae is born, it feeds within the phloem. The insect we see on the left side is a mountain pine beetle. It's either going inside the hole it made, or it's just looking inside the hole, observing its stuff. And the two pictures we see on the right side are the holes made by the mountain pine beetles. Alright, now let's talk about the experiment. The experiment was located in the Bridger-Teton National Forest. The amount of natural attacks were determined at Elkhart Park and Tagwoti Pass by establishing transects made of lodgepole pine through a more equally dispersed stand. The responses of the adult females to lodgepole and white bark pines were tested by removing discs of barks with phloem from 10 healthy-looking trees. The method used in this experiment was that 67 lodgepole pine trees and 65 white bark pine trees were sampled. A 5 cm long piece of phloem was detached from each tree, placed in a plastic container and frozen at -20 degrees. That's pretty cold. Then every piece was examined in the laboratory or on the field. The results of the experiment show that white bark pine species are found to have inferior defense against the mountain pine beetles, which means that white bark pine species, which are the taller trees, cannot protect themselves against mountain pine beetles because they cannot produce toxin like the lodgepoles can. In the next bullet point, we say that on the other hand, lodgepole pine trees produce resin toxin in response to the beetle's activities. So, since they produce resin toxin, they have the ability to stop the beetles from attacking them. It was observed that during the winter, more species survive due to the low temperature. Bark beetles target the defense of the tree by pheromone-mediated mass attack. In this figure, we are looking at the attacked and the mass attacked species of the lodgepole and the whitebark pine trees with respect to recent flow in centimeters squared. As we can see, the attacked species of both the lodgepole and the whitebark pine trees are pretty much the same. It's about 4.5 or 4.6. But for the mass attack, we have much more on the lodgepole than we do on the whitebark. This is a graph of the percentage of trees attacked in 2011 and 2012. The lodgepole pines are the black bar, and the white bars indicate the whitebark pines. As we can see, both species reduced by 2012. The amount of attacked species reduced by 2012. In 2011, we have about 45% lodgepole pines that were attacked, but in 2012 it went down to about 20%, a little over 20%. And as for the whitebark pine trees, it was 20% in 2011 and it went down to about 10% in 2012. So after looking at the results, we come to the conclusion that both low elevation trees and high elevation trees get attacked by insects, but high temperature gives access to insects to reach taller trees as well, which are the higher elevation trees. High elevation trees are considered endangered because they cannot produce enough resin toxin to protect themselves against insects. They cannot fight against insects. On the other hand, lower elevation trees can protect themselves against insects by producing resin toxin. I hope you guys enjoyed it.